In 2022, astronomers at the Kitt Peak National Observatory discovered a planet unlike anything previously observed. TI 375b is located 587 light-years away from Earth. Its radius is 1.5 times larger than our Jupiter. Scientists initially classified this planet as a gas giant, simply because there was no other suitable category for such an unusual world. However, in terms of consistency, it most closely resembles ordinary Earth marshmallow. The orbit of this celestial body is elliptical, meaning it alternately moves far away from its nearest star and then approaches it very closely. The star periodically bombards the planet with powerful radiation bursts. As a result, the planet's atmosphere whips around like egg whites in a mixer. But this is far from the strangest extraterrestrial world. In this video, you'll learn about what malicious neighbors are capable of, where the most unusual things are found, and most importantly, which gas giant planets can be considered the strangest. Planet Trace. 2b is located 750 light-years from Earth. However, you'd probably never be able to see it, and not because of the distance. It's simply so dark that it absorbs light instead of reflecting it. Even our blackest earthly SIT only absorbs 95% of light, while Trace 2b manages to devour more than 99%. Moreover, this planet isn't deprived of light from its star at all. The distance from Trace 2b to its nearest illuminating star is only 4 million kilometers. This is 10 times closer than the distance between Mercury and our Sun. Scientists still don't know what exactly causes such low reflectivity. However, they've already found a worthy opponent for this planet. Meet Gliese 504b. It's located in the constellation Virgo, approximately 57 light-years from Earth. The distance from Gliese 504b to its nearest star is 9 times greater than the distance from Jupiter to the Sun. It would seem that Gliese 504b should have become a truly dark world. But instead, it glows from within. This fundamentally differs from our understanding of what gas giant planets should be like. After all, usually such celestial bodies only reflect light from stars, but certainly don't emit light themselves. Scientists suggest that this peculiarity of Gliese 504b may be related to the fact that it formed quite recently and hasn't completely cooled down yet, just like red-hot metal at a forge. But if this is really the case, then why do people so rarely observe similar glowing? Judging by everything, Gliese 504b holds more secrets that we'll uncover in the future. Another mystery is GJ 1214b. This planet orbits approximately 42 light-years away from us. For a long time, scientists tried to understand whether there was water in space, and then they found a celestial body that consists entirely of oceans. GJ 1214b is 3 times larger than Earth, and the mass of its water cover reaches up to 10% of the planet's total mass. On Earth, this indicator is only 0.05%. According to researchers, the depth of oceans in this unusual world could reach 1,600 kilometers. Consider that our deepest ocean location, the Mariana Trench, reaches only 11 kilometers deep. Throughout our civilization's history, we've managed to explore only 5% of our oceans and still don't even know all their inhabitants. Imagine how much work researchers would have if they ever reached GJ 1214b. However, oceans are found on other exoplanets too. Kepler 10b is also covered almost entirely by seas. The only difference is that these seas consist not of water, but of lava. The planet is 560 light-years away from Earth and is located close to its star. Therefore, temperatures there can reach 1,500 degrees Celsius. Due to this, the surface has long since melted and transformed into an endless boiling ocean. Kepler 10b is 5 times more massive than Earth, and that's because this planet consists entirely of molten iron. This gives the ocean its characteristic red color. Perhaps this is how our ancestors imagined hell. After all, even the boldest legends find some confirmation in space. Previously, many dreamed of reaching the mythical city of El Dorado to be surrounded by gold and precious stones. But how surprised they would be to learn that in space there exists an entire world made of pure diamond. This planet is 5 times larger than Earth and is located 4,000 light-years away from us. It consists entirely of carbon, but gravity and pressure are so strong that over time, the carbon compressed and formed a gigantic diamond. No wonder the planet shines so brightly. After all, it was once a star. Previously, there were two luminaries in its stellar system, a white dwarf and a pulsar. Then the pulsar transformed into a supernova, absorbing its companion in the process. 90% of the white dwarf's mass became fuel for the stellar explosion, and from the remains, a gigantic diamond was formed. If planets themselves can be so diverse, then local climate shouldn't surprise us. Forgot your umbrella at home again? Don't despair. On some planets, you could get into much worse trouble. WASP 76b has already amazed scientists, as it's the first exoplanet where they found weather, one of the most violent elements. However, the weather conditions of this celestial body interested scientists even more. WASP 76b is always turned toward its star with one side. This means the temperature there reaches nearly 2,500 degrees Celsius. This is 1,000 degrees higher than iron's melting point, which covers this planet. Therefore, iron there doesn't just melt, it transforms into vapor. But the most terrifying thing happens with weather. When such vapor moves to the other, noticeably darker side of the planet, it condenses and falls as iron rain. Not many exoplanets can compete with such anomalies. But HD 189733b proved no less amazing. The atmosphere of this celestial body is cooler. It heats up to only 850 degrees Celsius. But it contains many silicon particles. Under such temperatures, they begin to melt and then fall on the planet as rain made of glass shards. It seems this isn't as scary as a downpour of molten iron. But wait, on this planet, winds also frequently rise with speeds of 1,700 kilometers per hour. Under such conditions, glass droplets don't fall downward but horizontally rush over the surface, slicing through anything that dares to exist in this hellish world. Although the title of most hellish place may well be contested by another space giant that scientists aptly call KLT-9b, the Fireball planet. Among all discovered exoplanets, it's the hottest. KLT-9b orbits in the constellation Cygnus, 650 light-years from Earth. The temperature on its surface reaches 4,300 degrees Celsius. This is higher than on many stars. KLT-9b became so hot because it's located extremely close to its star. A year on this planet lasts only 1.5 Earth days. This means if you're about to turn 30, on KLT-9b would have celebrated your 7,300th birthday. However, any earthly space vessel would hardly manage to approach this planet. It's so hot that it tears apart its own molecules. Scientists suggest that soon this celestial body will destroy itself. But even the dying KLT-9b isn't nearly as bright as another space giant. This planet with a complex name is truly remarkable. It's not bound to any star. This celestial body orbits only 20 light-years from us, and its magnetic field is 4 million times stronger than Earth's. When various elements from space enter this planet's orbit, under the influence of its powerful magnetic field, they immediately transform into a soup of scattered particles. This is what causes the unusually powerful aurora. If you happen to find yourself on this planet, you would observe fires in the sky every moment, thousands of times brighter than our northern lights. The atmospheric features of the next space object won't even allow you to approach it. The gas giant, designated WASP 103b, is located 1,000 light-years from us. It's twice as large as our Jupiter in both size and mass. But this is far from its most interesting feature. Unlike most planets, WASP 103b isn't round, but has the shape of a rugby ball. This is all due to the insane gravity of the parent star. It's so large that it simply flattened the planet. But the nearby star didn't stop there. It literally incinerates WASP 103b. The planet heated up so much that every second it loses an amount of matter equivalent to 1,000 Egyptian pyramids. If a space vessel tried to land on this planet, atmospheric currents would simply carry it away into open space. If the orbit of WASP 103b were just 10 kilometers closer, we would no longer be able to observe such an unusual phenomenon, as then the influence of the nearest star's gravity would have destroyed it completely. But other exoplanets can boast even more elaborate orbits. TI 2109b is located 860 light-years from Earth. It's approximately 5 times more massive than Jupiter, and the star around which it orbits is twice as large as our Sun. This gas giant has the shortest known orbit of any planet in the universe. Its year lasts only 16 hours. But recent data suggests this time period may decrease further, as the planet began rotating much faster and is heading toward its own star. Moreover, it's accelerating at a rate scientists have never observed in similar objects, more than 750 kilometers per second. Astronomer Ian Wong from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center believes that in just 2 years, we'll be able to observe how the star devours its planet. This is extremely fast by cosmic standards. But in some cases, a planet can be destroyed not by sudden acceleration, but by becoming too slow. Recently, planet Kepler 1658b reduced its orbital speed around its star by several tenths of a percent. At first glance, this might seem very small, until we remember how close the space object's orbit passes to its star. If the deceleration continues, soon the planet won't be able to resist the star's gravity and will simply fall into it. Now let's talk about celestial bodies influenced by the gravity of 3 stars simultaneously. This is planet Kepler 16AB, located nearly 9,000 light-years from Earth in the constellation Cygnus. It orbits around a star that, in turn, orbits around another star. But that's not all. A third star is located a bit further away and also locks the 2 other stars and the planet in its orbit. If we manage to reach Kepler 16AB, we would see 3 suns of different sizes in the sky, from gigantic to quite tiny. But scientists set themselves an even more exciting task to find a stellar system with not 3, but 4 stars. And recently, they succeeded. Planet PH1 is located 5,000 light-years from Earth. Moreover, it wasn't discovered by professional researchers, but by citizen scientists, participants in the Planet Hunters project. This platform receives unprocessed data from orbital telescopes. If you're lucky, anyone can discover a new space object. True, we won't soon learn exactly how planet PH1's orbit is arranged. This requires much more serious observations. But while one planet's orbit is shared by 4 suns, there are celestial bodies that travel through space by themselves. HD 106906b is an exoplanet giant approximately 11 times more massive than Jupiter. It's located 300 light-years from Earth in the constellation Crux. After discovering this planet, scientists long puzzled over its orbit, as the surface of this space object is heated to 1,500 degrees Celsius. This is only possible if the planet orbits around a star. But initially, no star was found near this celestial body. Soon a star was discovered, but 96 billion kilometers away from the planet. This is 20 times greater than the distance between the Sun and Neptune. The planet's abnormal temperature is related to the fact that it's very young. This celestial body is 350 times younger than Earth and simply hasn't had time to cool down yet. In a few million years, it has every chance of becoming a true frozen world. But the trajectory of some planets is somewhat unpredictable, even past giants. HR 5183b is 100 light-years away from us. Its orbit is so elongated that it alternately approaches its star very closely, then moves to the very edge of its stellar system. Moreover, the other planets orbiting this star behave absolutely normally. If we placed HR 5183b in the solar system, it would constantly threaten to collide with several planets at once. For such wild behavior, scientists even nicknamed this planet the Wrecking Ball. It turns out that sometimes the most ordinary-looking space objects can hide such secrets. TI 2180b is located 38 light-years from Earth. At first glance, it's absolutely ordinary. The planet resembles our Jupiter and is the same size. However, it's 3 times heavier than Jupiter. For a space object consisting of gas, this is too much. Moreover, TI 2180b's orbital radius is much larger than all previously discovered gas giants. At such a distance from its star, the planet manages to maintain a temperature of 80 degrees Celsius. This is much warmer than most space giants. Using special devices, people could quite possibly exist there. Perhaps the reason this planet is so heavy is that there's a real solid core under the gas. This would explain such weight. But sometimes, to peek under planetary veils, you don't even need powerful telescopes. GJ 1132b is located 40 light-years from us. It's a rocky terrestrial world about 1.6 times larger than Earth, with a thin water atmosphere. It would seem nothing unusual, except this is already the planet's second atmosphere. Previously, this celestial body was much larger due to a denser helium shell. But then, under the influence of the hot young star around which the planet orbits, it simply evaporated. Only the bare core remained of GJ 1132b. However, the planet wasn't about to give up. Soon it even grew itself a new atmosphere as a result of volcanic activity. Moreover, it's not planning to stop. Recent data shows that each year, GJ 1132b's atmosphere significantly increases. While some celestial bodies undergo such radical changes, others remain unchanged for billions of years. This exoplanet is located in the constellation Scorpius, 12,500 light-years from Earth. Scientists aptly named it after the biblical character Methuselah, who according to scripture lived about 1,000 years. But this celestial body is 13 billion years old. This planet is almost as old as the universe itself. Moreover, it exists in one of the harshest regions of space. Every year, Methuselah endures more than 200 powerful earthquakes and magnetic storms. But there's a planet that's even less fortunate. Planet Kepler 36b is located 1,200 light-years from Earth. It constantly bullies its younger sister, Kepler 36c. These celestial bodies orbit around each other while simultaneously orbiting a star. When the distance between them decreases to a minimum, the gravity and magnetic fields of the larger body cause earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and fiery storms on the smaller one, all simultaneously. As soon as the small planet manages to recover, the cataclysms begin again, as such encounters occur regularly every 97 days. True, this cycle has been going on for thousands of years. Perhaps they're satisfied with such toxic relationships. But in space, there are giants that absolutely don't want to get along with their neighbors. J1407b orbits 400 light-years from Earth. The planet itself is absolutely ordinary, but it so didn't want to be neighbors with anyone that it grew an entire system of external rings. The radius of this space object's largest ring is 90 million kilometers. For comparison, the radius of our Saturn's largest ring is 200 times smaller, only about 480,000 kilometers. If J1407b were placed instead of Saturn in the solar system, then from Earth, we would clearly observe its rings with the naked eye in the night sky. However, for now, this space object only causes inconvenience to its own star. Recently, scientists observed a 56-day eclipse caused by the planet's rings blocking the nearest star. Every month, researchers discover more fantastic exoplanets. The recently launched James Webb Space Telescope has significantly accelerated this work. In early 2023, it discovered planet LHS 475b, which orbits 40 light-years from us. Its peculiarity lies in the fact that it could someday completely replace Earth, as it's exactly the same size. Moreover, further research showed that its atmosphere and temperature regime might be very similar to our conditions. Well then, shall we pack our bags? Leave your opinion in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you and see you in the next videos. Take care.